Hello everyone, this game is Okami, and if you're not familiar with Okami, this is a game where you play as the mother of all things, reborn as a wolf. And Amaterasu is her name, and she is the origin of all that is good. Those are not my words. That is a thing said many times throughout the game so far in the 8 hours I have played. 8 hours not being a very long time for the way this game is paced. What we're doing in this village currently is seeking out holy warrior dogs and bringing them to the local princess, as one does in these Japanese video games. And how we do that is we find them, we feed them, and then they go back to their master. Simple enough. A little bit of a miniature collect-a-thon. Mostly busy work. A lot of this game has been busy work so far, and there's not been a lot of freedom yet, but it is quite a slow-paced game, so it might open up. I'm not sure. I do love these animations that play when you feed the animals. I do wish that that skip button was not there. The cutscenes eventually, these feeding cutscenes do end on their own, and I prefer to watch them all the way through, so I would just like if that skip button wasn't there to remind me that I can skip. It interferes with the beauty of the scene for me a little. I haven't skipped any of these so far. Anyway, so now you understand the current goal is to find these dogs, feed them, and then they will return to their owner, the local princess. You get the same dialogue for each of them generally, but there is an exception to that we'll be seeing in this video. Just felt like I should establish what the overall goal is before we get right to the part that I have personal problems with. Isun feels the need to remind you constantly of objectives. And it's not necessarily out of character, but it consumes so much of his character that it is quite grating on me, personally. I got lost for a moment. It is not a large village, but I still got lost anyway. That happens. Sometimes persons like myself make mistakes. I am just as flawed as anyone else. But now we're going to head to the princess's temple. It's probably not her temple, but it is where she resides right now. And we're going to be accosted by an unfriendly fellow along the way. And then we can talk about what I wanted to talk about. Can even see their icon right there already. This one-eyed dog has the misfortune of being in a rather emotionally turbulent position. You see, this one-eyed dog is forbidden from fighting frivolous battles with others, but is also upset that we've been entrusted with the canine tracker, that floating thing that tells us where the holy dog warriors are. This dog thinks maybe we are not worthy to hold it. It wants to fight us so we can prove that we deserve it. But we were already entrusted the canine tracker by the princess, who guards the canine tracker. The question here, the decision we have to make, is whether we want to pick a fight. And again, those are the game's words, not mine. Inherently negative connotation in that question, and we have no reason to fight this dog. We know that we are worthy of holding the canine tracker. It was given to us by its keeper. We have nothing to prove, and we are Amaterasu, mother to all and origin of all that is good in the world. We are a benevolent being. We do not engage in senseless combat for the sake of violence. We are not a prideful, vain creature. And even though moments like this are easy to manufacture, I do almost always appreciate them. I enjoy the ability to say no. I would rather not engage in violence. I prefer it even more when the violence is difficult to avoid, but in this circumstance it doesn't have to be. We can just say no, feed the dog, and go talk to the princess. As the benevolent, holy creature that is the origin of all good, this is the proper course of action. I wasn't particularly enjoying Okami until this point, but when this happened, I was a little bit relieved that there was some emotional depth to be had in the game. We will be chastised by Isun for running away, as he puts it, but we shouldn't care what Isun says. We made the right choice. Now, as a benevolent god would, let us simply approach the dog that is so angry with us for absolutely trivial reasons, it would seem, and give him his food. You do have to buy these food bags, by the way. So, if it's not clear, there are two things that are important in this scene's functionality for me. The first one is that Amaterasu is a benevolent, kind, loving creature who is the origin of all good and mother to all things. Very important to keep that in mind. That is who the character Amaterasu is. That is who you are role-playing as in this video game. The second important factor is the context of the decision. Through the context we were given, there is no reason to fight this dog. No reason at all. We were given the canine tracker by its rightful owner. We deserve to have it. The dog is misguided in wanting to fight us, and if we can avoid violence, we should. Also, the question was worded in an inherently negative fashion. It did ask us if we would like to pick a fight, which is an inherently negative way to ask such a thing, at least in American English culture. So let's inform the princess that we found the last dog and he's outside, asking to fight us for some reason. Yes, 4 of them have returned. They are safe, and the last one's outside. We don't really need a reward, per se, but she gives us food, without specifying what kind of food. Yeah, no, I assure you the other canine warrior is safe. He's right outside. Yes, there is one more in the village. He's right outside. Yes, it is mostly legwork, that is true. But most importantly, the canine you were seeking for is right outside this temple. Literally right outside this temple. Let's try telling her again. It appears she is repeating the dialogue. And my blood is starting to boil, just a small amount, as I slowly come to the realization that the game expects you to fight this poor dog. The game expects you, a god, the mother of all, and origin of all that is good, to feel good about fighting that dog, about actively choosing violence in a situation where violence is not only unnecessary, but makes everything worse. There is no additional benefit gained from violence, so I feel like leaving the town. Let's go do some other side quests. We can't leave. Yes, we just can't leave. Not only did it give us a choice that pretended we had a say in the matter when we really didn't, but the other reason one might put that choice there, that reason being to allow the player to leave and explore other areas, also non-existent. Lovely. I am dissatisfied with you, Okami. In a game already so devoid of agency so far, this seems, an uncharitable mockery of what I hold dear, this pretend situation that you fabricated.